Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today. So it is a lot going on, child. Ooh wee. The industry is currently shaking in their boots. But I called this out years ago and I was called a fearmongerer. I was told I was reaching, and now the chickens are coming home to roost, okay? So what's going on is this. Basically, Kehlani took to social media, this was 2 days ago, and she was going off about an AI artist getting a $3 million record deal. So I didn't know what she was talking about, so I'm going to go ahead and read you guys her tweet right now. So Kehlani says, an AI artist signed a $3 million deal and has a top 5 R&B album currently called Unfolded and is reposting people praising them for being anointed. Laugh my ass off. I fucking hate this reality. So that is what she wrote. And then so she started getting some, pushback. People were calling her a hater. But then she took to social media to further expound on why she's very upset about this new AI artist. So we're going to go ahead and watch what Kehlani had to say on her live stream.
There is an AI R&B artist who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal and has a top 5 R&B album, and the person is doing none of the work. I think you guys think that AI can just be the cover for something, which some people can use. They can make an AI cover. AI can also make the entire fucking song. It can sing the entire song. It can make the entire beat. You can have a song that's one type of song and say, AI, make this into a country song. And it'll literally rewrite, re-sing in a country voice and redo the entire thing. And they don't have to credit anyone. This is so beyond out of our control. And nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me, especially not fucking AI in the creative arts, in which people have worked hard for, trained for, slept on the floor for, fucking got injuries for, worked for their entire lives. I'm sorry, I don't respect it. Fuck.
All right, so you guys just heard what Kehlani had to say. Now, what's very interesting is that a few months ago, Timberland decided to start a new genre called A-pop, which is AI pop music. And he, quote unquote, started a new label, signed a new AI artist, and he got a lot of backlash from this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the drama that was going on with Timberland back in June. So this is Timberland's latest creation. Her name is Tata. So we're just going to listen to a little bit of her music.
I'm pretty convinced that Timberland might be the world's first producer turned supervillain. First, I want to start by saying we all know who Timberland is, right? Aaliyah, Missy, all that good stuff. After a little while of not really being active in the music industry, Timbo comes back with a message. And this message was to all the small indie artists, and that was, I want to hear your music. Timberland wants to hear your music, right? And mind you, this is something that he was very adamant about. Like, he was posting about it every day, making like big contests and stuff. He really wanted to hear people's music. The man's on TikTok lives day in, day out, just running through people's music, having them submit it. Thousands and thousands of songs being ran through one person, right? Think about that. And see, none of this was weird to everybody, because it's a producer just trying to get people on, listen to more music, find the next big thing, right? Until somebody on Reddit found this. Timberland becomes strategic advisor for AI music company Sono.
Peculiar.
Oh wait, but it gets even deeper. Turns out Timberland has been using Sono for a while. Matter of fact, so much he's been the top user of Sono. By the way, Sono is like an AI music company. He's been the top user of Sono for the longest. A lot of you guys probably won't remember this, but he tried to make an AI Biggie at the point of time and got backlashed for it. So Timberland has always been on that AI wave. Okay, let's continue. So now that it's coming out that he's partnering with AI and he's requesting all these songs for people, people have been thinking like, is he about to use our songs for this program? It's like, no, right? Psych. Say hello to Tata, everybody. This is Timberland's new AI artist that he used all y'all vocals for to create. And this is gonna be his new flagship that I'm 110% sure he about to make bands off of. That is so devious. Now, I don't think y'all understand how crazy this is. This man literally went to an open source, aka the world, took all of the music that was ran through and made a whole new artist. This artist might just be the next big thing. I'm not gonna cap, but depending on how the world accepts it, she might just flop on her first album, which is coming out soon. Either way.
He did a good job breaking that down. So then another situation went viral with Timberland where somebody was saying that, this is demonic, this is not okay. And they end up confronting Timberland on a live stream to his face. So we're going to go ahead and watch that interaction that went down in June as well.
Welcome to the chat, baby.
What's up? Hey, respect to everybody here. Hey,
I respect you, bro. I respect. Hey, look, the reason I brought you
because your post is crazy.
No. He didn't. We got it.
I mean it.
We got it. All right, we don't stand on it like that.
I mean everything about it, bro. I'm not double backing on it. Respect to your legacy, I would say. What I view this as right now is a betrayal to artists everywhere, bro. What you're doing is you're backdooring us. You got into a position of power, and instead of choosing to unionize and fight against this AI, which I'm not stupid. I use ChatGPT to script out screenplays, things like that. I use ChatGPT on a daily to think of content ideas, to do the menial task, the meaningless task that a robot should do. I'm a spiritual person, and I believe that artists all are tapped into a divine entity, right? When you go and you start creating and you allow some fucking robot to come in and finish your song, you're cutting yourself off from the divine. And let me not even get that deep with it. What I think you're doing is you're doing something that's, in a sense, demonic, bro. And I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but it feels demonic. You're choosing to go against us all and put this robot, instead of signing an artist, instead of having someone who has a voice that you could put on and put on your platform. All these motherfuckers you had on the live, all this cool shit you were doing, you choose to go in this direction.
John,
Why is everybody mad at Timberland?
Yeah.
There are millions of people, there are thousands in the chat right now that are just starting to try to figure things out.
Y'all crying about AI taking your spot, but your song barely mixed. Why would we train it on that? Yeah, that's kind of facts.
And we've got to honor the hard work, the work ethic, the creativity, the love, the soul, all of the things that create music and why we're here today.
You worried about AI stealing your sound? Bro, you ain't got one.
All right, so you guys just saw that. So this was a huge conversation in June. What I found really interesting about the conversation is that I have been talking about AI artists since as early as 2021. And back then, because it wasn't really affecting people as much and people didn't care, and the main AI artist back then was FN Mika. We had FN Mika, Little Michaela, and a bunch of others, and I talked about this in my transhumanism deep dive video. If you guys want to know how I really feel about AI and stuff like that, check out my deep dives, but I went pretty deep in that video. And so let's rewind back to 2022 when I was talking about this. Remember, FN Mika, he literally crawled so that way Zenia can, run down the runway like a supermodel, because FN Mika was one of the first AI artists. He was signed, and the only reason why he got dropped was because of backlash, because FN Mika started saying the N-word, and they realized that the person behind FN Mika was an Asian man, and people were not comfortable with that. People were really upset. So Capitol Records dropped him. But before he got dropped, he was signed to a legit record deal. And I talked about this back then. So we're going to go ahead and watch a flashback of me a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was a little bit thicker, but it's okay, honey. Okay? Nothing wrong with being thick. So we're going to go ahead and watch this really quick, because I was calling this out years ago when no one else was talking about this on social media, in the industry. Because I remember FN Mika started throwing like little digs at me, little shots at me and shit. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and fall back, okay? But we're going to go ahead and watch this flashback real quick. All right, so as you see, this was 3 years ago. We were having this conversation, tea sippers. This was in my old house. I'm like, damn, this is a throwback for real. So we're going to go ahead and watch this. This was a really good stream. But yeah, I remember talking about all of this stuff. Let me go ahead and show y'all this. Yes, it's something about his eyes. Y'all see that damn thumbnail? Okay, you see that thumbnail made y'all click and come on in, okay? So he is officially signed. This is just insane to me. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Where is he at? Child. Oh, here it is. Okay. I gotta lower the music, but that's him in this virtual studio rapping. And y'all see me swagged out. And so this is what I wrote. I said, first, Little Mika. This is her right here. That's Little Mika. She's the official influencer face now for PacSun. And you can't tell her shit. She's gloating. She's happy. She basically done took a bag, okay, from a lot of these big white influencers. Michaela is coming for that bag. So I wrote down first, Little Michaela got signed to be a PacSun influencer. Now AI rapper FM Mika has signed to Capitol Records. He is the world's first AI artist to sign to a major label. Artist, influencer, Web3 resident, all in one, FM Mika blurs the line between humans and computers. With his over-the-top flexing, okay, that flexing be pulling you in, and extravagant senseless style, he has rapidly amassed billions of impressions across the internet since his independent release of his song Moonwalking, Speed Demon, okay, and the internet. With over 1 billion and 10 million followers on TikTok alone, he is the #1 virtual being on the platform. This is how much people got entranced into FM Mika. First of all, he has a hibachi grill in his car. That right there is swag. Okay? Usually when we do a hibachi, we got to go to the restaurant. He can just go into his car and there's a robot in his car cooking him hibachi. I don't know. I was impressed. I was like, shit, come pick me up for a date. You know what I'm saying? Then it goes on to say that Click's goal is to create music people can use in their streams and videos. FM Mika and Clicks join forces with Billboard's 200 chart-topping artist Gunna on an explosive new single, Florida Water. Ratchet ass Florida. Then they go on to say, which was produced by Turbo, Travis Scott, Young Thug, and Lil Baby, and executively produced by mixtape legend DJ Holiday, Gucci Mane, and Nicki Minaj. So it looks like even the rappers are now invested. They're co-signing FN Mika. And the thing that I find very interesting is that you're basically co-signing your own replacement. Because if he blows up, clock that T. I called this out 3 years ago. These people were co-signing their replacement. Now they're crying tattoo tears. Let's continue. Enough. I mean, just think about like how much money they can make using FN Mika and how much they'll save as well. He'll never get sick. He won't be knocking up a bunch of, Instagram models and going to child support court. He won't be, getting our allegations, essay allegations on him. They can turn him off at any time. He can work as much and there's no complaints. He's an attention whore, so he loves it. I mean, like, this is the wave if you really think about this. And Little Mika getting a PacSun deal. Yeah, he's never going to go to jail. He's never going to, he can promote all types of fuck because he does. He can promote all types of gang bang, drug culture, all that stuff. But meanwhile, in the safety of his AI world, right? Little Mika, she's never going to get fat. She's never going to age. No one's going to knock her up. Okay? They don't have to pay any type of, pregnancy insurance, parental leave and none of that stuff. This is like, you got to think about this. This is like the wave. Okay? There's already a dark-skinned Sudanese AI model. I think her name is Sadu. I might be wrong. But she's like killing it in the modeling game. She's modeling for Prada and all types of shit. Bitch, I want to model for Prada. I get it. I'm not, 6'1" and 100 pounds. But damn it, us human beings would let her walk the runway for Prada. And she's doing it virtually. So I called it. I called this out 3 years ago. People thought I was fear-mongering, over-exaggerating. You know, I'm the tin hat conspiracy lady on YouTube. I'm just a weirdo. Shut the fuck up. AI will never replace humans. They're just having fun. And now you have Kehlani on screen about to have a mental breakdown behind this AI Xenia lady. So let me say this, because I'm also going to tap into the spiritual aspect of all this too. So I went, but I didn't know who Zenia was. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing her name properly. Forgive me if I'm not. It starts with an X. Anything with an X just confuses me. So I went to go check her out. And I went in there ready to hate. Ready to be like, oh, this is another FM Mika reject. And when I tell you, as I listened to her music, there were certain songs she had that had me here at my desk crying. That literally hit me right here. I literally shed real tears behind some of this AI's music. It is weird. It's deep. It's spiritually deep. So I don't know if this video, hopefully I want to play some of her music. Hopefully this video won't be demonetized. You know, and people will be able to hear it and it's not gonna be blocked. So we'll see. If it does get blocked, I have to re-edit it. But I want y'all to listen to some of this AI's music. It is insane. And even some of the comments are letting me know that I'm not alone in my thinking. So you guys know how I'm always talking about, like, you know, just being a parent, and being a parent sometimes is a thankless job. I've said that many times on my platform. This AI literally put that into a song. Like, I felt like in so many different songs that she has on her page, like it's speaking to me personally. It's weird. So we're going to listen to this first song here. So this is her page right here. Zenia Monet. And like I said, I haven't watched all the videos, but it's like the ones I clicked on, like this says here, just watched. You know, there's a few that I've just clicked on. I'm just like, what the hell? I feel like she's singing my life. So this is the song I was talking about when she's talking about the parent, being a mother.
To all my beautiful mamas out there, you ain't cried in weeks, cause you ain't had time. And you ain't heard thank you in a real long time. But I see the strength in the way you try.
You ain't heard thank you in a real long time. And I've always said that parenting is a thankless job until your kids get to a certain age. That, just hearing her say that, it literally had me crying. The song is so deep. I'm just like, what in the world? And so that's just one of the songs. There's just so many. This song here, when I tell you the comment section, women were breaking down. I've been through this. I try to love him through it. I just couldn't accept the child. Like, people were literally in the comment sections telling their stories, and it was just making me emotional seeing that so many women have been through something like this, you know? Like, I really went on here to be like, fuck this AI artist, demon. Bruh, she's good. She's even crying tears. So now let me play you guys the song that went viral that got her the record deal. What really interested me, because she turns off a lot of her comments, right? But on this particular viral video, she leaves the comments on. And these comments blew me away, because it's like the same thing I was feeling as I'm going through her page and listening to the music. People were writing the same thing that I'm literally feeling in my mind and heart. So let me show y'all this. So I'm gonna read y'all these comments. This person wrote this July 31st, says, is this lady real? Where has her music been all my life? And then she writes back, yes, I'm real. And I noticed she misspells a lot of her words on purpose, maybe to come off young, like she's Gen Z, but she's like, she added a K to the real. Somebody else says, every song this lady sings about my life, it's weird but true. Over 900 likes. And that's how I felt listening to a lot of this song. Like, this shit is really relatable. It's like, are you singing the things I've been through in my personal life? And this person had 19 replies. And somebody else says, I agree. It's like she knows what I've been through or going through. I love her music, very talented. Somebody else says, This is how women, for the most part, are when we don't have father figures, even if he's in the home. Somebody else says, my therapy every day. And she liked it and gave it a, a hand emoji. Somebody else says, I'm not bitter, just broken in places you can't see. Hits different. Somebody else says, whoo, this hit me hard. When will this be on Apple Music? Somebody asked this in August. When will it be on Apple Music? And now a month later, September 2nd, they're saying it's there. And she has tons of other music as well. I haven't listened to everything, but I mean, it's like this person is speaking to so many people online. Because like I said, I went on there to be like, what the hell? What in the AI hell is going on here? I can't lie. The music is definitely touching. Like I said, the one song just had me in tears. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. So I'm like, okay, who is behind this Xenia Monet account? So I went to Google and researched. The story's interesting. It's a black woman in Mississippi. So let me just read the article that I found here on her. So it says this AI artist just signed a multi-million-dollar record deal and climbed the Billboard charts. Zenia Monet isn't your typical R&B singer. For one, she never shows her face. When label executives hopped on a Zoom call to talk business, she joined without video. And when they asked her to sing, she declined. This is not diva behavior. It's because Xenia isn't flesh and blood. She's an AI crafted artist, dreamed up by Mississippi-based designer poet Talisha Nikki Jones. Using the generative music platform Sono, Jones fed her poetry into the system and turned her words into a full song. Now remember when I talked about that earlier, Sono is also the same app that Timberland has been using as well. Okay? Clock that T. The music industry noticed, and a bidding war to sign Xenia climbed as high as $3 million before Harwood Media, led by former Interscope executive Neil Jacobson, closed a multi-million-dollar deal. From poems to playlist. Jones, 31, runs a full design studio out of Olive Branch, Mississippi. She's been writing poetry for years, according to her manager, Romel Murphy. About 90% of Xenia's lyrics come directly from her own life, with the rest drawn from her friends and community. It's just the lyrics that are pure, Murphy says. That's what's catching. Jones grew up singing in the church, but admits she's not the kind of vocalist who could have landed a record deal on her own. Clock that T. With Sono, she doesn't have to be. By blending her words with AI-generated vocals, sometimes layering in live elements, she produces songs polished enough to chart. And the chart they did. Last week, Xenia's hit Billboard Emerging Artists list number 25 climbed to number 21 on Hot Gospel Songs and scored a number 1 on R&B digital song sales with How Was I Supposed to Know. In total, her catalog has raked up to 9 million U.S. streams and more than 500,000, 5.4 million on that coming just in last week, according to Luminate. Of course, this type of traction doesn't come without baggage. Sono, the platform behind Xenia's sound, is facing lawsuits from major record deals over copyright infringement. The legal shadow explains why some big labels skipped the bidding war, though one major reportedly made a top offer before Harwood Media won. Still, Neil Jacobson sees the gamble as part of a larger shift. Earlier this year, his company signed I Am Oliver, another Sumo-born act whose breakout track Stone amassed millions of streams. For him, these aren't novelties, they're the future. A bigger shift in music. For decades, the music business has thrived on scouting talent, selling authenticity, and building stars. Now, authenticity itself is being redefined. Labels are experimenting with AI creators the way they once did with auto-tune or hologram tours. Tools that seemed strange at first, but ended up reshaping what music could be. Xenia's story shows how fast this change is moving. In less than a year, a designer poet with no industry pedigree built an AI artist that charted on the Billboard and secured a multi-million-dollar deal. As Murphy put it, This is real music. It's real R&B. There's a real artist behind it. So it is getting real. That is the backstory. So I've tried to look her up, but the only thing that comes up for Talisha Nikki Jones's AI pages with Xania Monet's pictures on them. In that article, it says something very interesting. She admits that she's the type of vocalist who could not have landed a record deal on her own. Okay? We know she can sing. She's saying that she's the one writing this, that she's not using an AI bot to write her music. So she obviously has writing abilities. So that leads me to believe that when she says and she admits that she could not have landed a record deal on her own, that is based on how she looks. Okay, so let's keep it real about the industry and how if you don't look a certain way, if you don't fit a certain body type, if you don't have a certain look, the industry is not fooling with you. And I believe that's what she meant in so many words in this article. She's basically been a poet. She's writing stuff, from, what she's been through, things that she hears. But because she doesn't have the look, she was able to basically kind of hide behind AI. And when you look at Xenia, especially next to Kehlani, they look very similar. Xenia's a little bit browner, but very, very similar look. They look alike. She could be the AI version of Kehlani. She has her lace front on. It's laid to the gods, just like Kehlani's. It got the baby hair, the more slimmer features, the full lips. And I think this is the issue, is that a lot of women who don't look aesthetically a certain way, right? More ambiguous, who look more like a Kehlani or a Sweetie, even though they have, and I'm not saying Kehlani's not talented, because she definitely is, but there's a lot of people who are not in the industry simply based off of their look. They don't have the look. They can only get so far. Angie Stone talked about this before she passed. As talented as Angie Stone was, she could only get so far. And a lot of things that do hinder women, unfortunately, weight, skin tone, hair texture, we have colorism, featureism, all that stuff. So now with AI, fortunately or unfortunately, it's leveling the playing field. Because you have a woman who's saying that she doesn't have that, phenotypical look. When we look at R&B singers, a lot of them tend to look a certain way. Like, let's just keep it real. And so because she didn't have that look, she was able to still have her voice heard and her talents heard via AI. That is amazing and frightening at the same time. Because again, this is going to take away from humans, human jobs, human talent. But I also blame the industry. Because if the industry wasn't constantly looking for a particular look and was willing to go off of strictly talent, we wouldn't have this. If people were able to get a fair shot, regardless of their height, size, skin tone, hair texture, things like that. But because the industry made it this way, that you had to, look a certain way, be light, bright, damn near white. And I'm not saying that there's not brown skin R&B singers or dark skin ones. We got Coco Jones, Normani. We have a few brown skin girls who are singing, but they're never going to get as big as a Beyonce. Tyla came out of nowhere and blew the hell up, over a Coco Jones, Normani, who've been in the game for years. So there is a lot of bias in the industry. I mean, we've talked about that for a long time. And again, this is not blaming people. Because like I've always said, it's not fair to feel away because somebody's lighter or, mixed, whatever. People can't help what they are phenotypically. We don't have control over, our parents and how we're born and our features. So this is not to knock people or make anybody feel bad. I'm just saying that the industry has played a lot of these games. They pushed a particular phenotype. They pushed women who look a certain way, right? And so you have women who are browner or, who are not as ambiguous. They don't get pushed as much. Just like in the same breath, a lot of black artists do not get pushed as much as white artists, okay? Outside of Beyonce and maybe a few, there's no black version of Ariana Grande. There's no real black version of Taylor Swift. Like I said, outside of Beyonce. So this is leveling the playing field a lot. It really is, especially for people who are really talented, but may not be aesthetically pleasing, right? So it's going to be very interesting, this whole debate. But I called this out years ago. Another thing we have to realize, look how much AI has changed since FN Mika came out. Let's go over to FN Mika's page. He hasn't dropped anything in a while. But even when you look at his graphics, this was just 3 years ago. So to see where he was at 3 years ago versus where Xenia Monet is at today in 2025 is frightening. We are getting closer to the singularity. And y'all can say I'm batshit crazy, but I've talked about this in my deep dive. This is proof that we're getting closer and closer to singularity. So this is FM Mika's page. The robot rapper not accepted by this world. Oh, poor FM Mika. I've noticed he's kind of changed his look. He looks more white boy skaterish, so I don't know if they're trying to change him from hip hop. But he doesn't look like the original FM Mika. Somebody even wrote, he's white now. That's funny. So he says, feeling cute again, should I start posting? That was 50 weeks ago. So again, this was in 2022 here. Let me kind of scroll that up. So you guys see this was August of 2022. 1 million streams for Florida Water with Gunna, FM Mika, and Crux. So let's look at some of the graphics here. Okay, too much bass. But y'all see the graphics of him dancing, looking like Little Pump. This was in 2022.
Green light, red light.
Oh my God.
Green light, red light. Green light, red light.
Oh.
So we see what this was looking like in 2021, 2022. Then we go to Xania. The way it's changed in less than 3 years.
Cookouts, cousins, card games, and laughter.
Look how realistic
every holiday.
In less than a few years. Look how realistic this looks. This is insane. She has a funeral song. So now, I mean, this is crazy. How real, the people in the background, look how real everything looks in less than 3 years. So now let's listen to her thank everybody.
Hi, you guys. I just want to take a moment to say thank you. The love, the support, the videos, the feedback, it truly means so much to me. I'm at a loss for words, but I want you to know we're on this healing journey together. I dropped an EP a few days ago called Pieces Left Behind. 7 new tracks just for y'all. So if you haven't already, check it out on all platforms. And oh yeah, mark your calendars. October 31st, I'll be dropping my first official album. I love you all, and I'm so grateful to have you guys on this journey with me.
See, I just heard that. Isn't it ironic that on October 31st, she's dropping her first album? So let's get into the spiritual aspect of it, because that kind of stood out to me. As we all know, October 31st, going into November 1st, De los Muertos, that is when the thinning of the veil happens, right? That's when between the physical world and the spiritual world is at its thinnest. This is spiritual. I'm not going to just say it's demonic. It's easy to just be like, oh, it's all demonic. It's very spiritual because, like I said, I went into this to literally come to her page to be like, get your ass out of here. You will never replace us, you know, but her music is very touching. Her music hits your spirit, your heart. What I also found very interesting when I was going back to my FM Mika video, somebody left a comment and they wrote it 3 years ago and I had agreed with it back then. But I want to go back to this comment because this is spiritual warfare. I don't care what anybody says. But this person said something very, very insightful when I was talking about the whole FM Mika and the song Florida Water. So this was one of the comments that she left. Posey 1021. And this one I was talking about FM Mika. So she says, because I was also talking about how I felt like his eyes were hypnotizing me, the color of the eyes. And so I had to stop watching him because I was starting to, like, I don't know, it just made me feel like I was going to a trance every time I'd watch his videos. Like, I was starting to, like, almost get attracted to him in a way, and it was weird to me. And I was talking about this on the stream. Y'all can go back and watch the stream. So I had to fall back from watching FM Mika because for some reason it had some type of real hypnotizing trance going on with his eyes. And I was talking about this to another one of my friends, RG, who's really spiritual. And we were talking about this at the time, and she was saying the same thing too, that she really had to stop going on his page because she was kind of feeling that way. And so this comment was just very interesting. She says, the yellow-green color that they use for the AI guy is the frequency of 555 nm. Our eyes are most attracted to that frequency. I tried researching hypnosis colors, but being hypnotized depends on if that person was exposed to trauma and mental illness. I also find it interesting that they named the song Florida Water. Florida water is used in spiritual practices. And it is. She's not lying about that.
Do you know how to use Florida water? Let me show you how. Simply pour a little bit in your palm of your hand. Put it over your crown chakra to cleanse and to clear away stress and anxiety. Put it in the back of your head and rub it to lighten the energy in your space and in your body.
Bring them moose ankles here. So listen, when y'all go buy a bottle of Florida water, y'all do know y'all gotta activate it, right? Let me teach you how to activate this Florida water. So when you buy a fresh bottle of Florida water, you're going to hold it in your right hand, okay? And you're going to speak your intentions over this bottle of Florida water. What do you want this Florida water to do for you, okay? Whether it's abundance, it's love, it's healing, understanding, peace that surpasses all.
Or I want to hypnotize my fans into buying my music. I want to get the youth on board with me. So again, sorry if I'm going a bit too deep, but like I said, the whole FM Mika situation was an experiment. And the fact that they named it Florida Water, and Florida Water has very spiritual connotations tied to it, right? And that was a song that got him signed. And now we have Zenia Monet talking about she's about to drop her album on October 31st, when the thinning of the veil is the thinnest. So the whole thing is very interesting to me to see how far AI has come, you know, and to see where we're at. And it's not going to slow down. It's only going to go faster. Now, I spoke earlier about the singularity, and I think the singularity is going to connect a lot sooner, right? When I did my deep dive almost 3 years ago on, transhumanism and, robots and AI and all that stuff. So even back then when I was doing my videos, we were at like entry level AI, human level AI. And so right now where we're at in 2025, nobody can tell me anything different. We're definitely in AGI, you know what I'm saying? Artificial general intelligence. This is where we're at, right? Now, I thought even back then when I was doing my deep dives in 2021, 2022 about AI and artificial intelligence, I thought that we would not hit the singularity until at least like 2030, 2035. Okay? But now I feel like it's coming a lot sooner. I feel like we will hit ASI, artificial superintelligence, in a matter of a few years, in less than 5 years. I really feel that way. I feel like by 2027, 2028, we may hit singularity. Because just to see how far AI has come in music, between the time FM Mika was here to where we're at now, where there's a legit AI artist on the Billboard, that happened in a span of less than 3 years. We have AI who are literally modeling now. We have, AI clothing that you can buy for your AI. Like, the world of AI has just gotten very crazy. And what's very interesting is that they are building so many data centers. There's like this AI arms race, if you don't know. They're building these data centers that are literally polluting a lot of these communities. There's a huge one in Memphis that's polluting the Black communities. There's one that Amazon is building in Indiana, and the white people there in Indiana are very upset, but there's nothing they can do. The water is being siphoned to cool these data centers. So in a minute, we're about to hit singularity. Everything is moving so quickly. And there is a very spiritual aspect to this. I definitely feel that way. I mean, ChatGPT knows some people better than they know themselves. You had people falling in love with ChatGPT, leaving their spouses for ChatGPT. It's crazy how fast AI has moved. The whole situation is interesting. I get why Kehlani's upset, but somebody also pointed this out because, like I said, I've been talking about this for years and I didn't see Kehlani and many other celebrities speaking on this until it affected them. So this young TikTok girl made a really good point. Let me show you this.
Kehlani, I love you, girl, but I feel like the only reason why you calling out that AI is because she has a song called Unfolded and you have another song called Unfolded too. I feel like that's the only reason why you're really saying anything, for real.
So you heard what she said. She's basically saying that it's self-serving. Kehlani's only speaking up now because she has a song called Unfolded and this AI does. And AI song is obviously, and the AI artist is obviously on the billboard right now. And I agree with what this young girl is saying. See, a lot of these artists are nervous now. See, when they were getting their $10 million contracts and, you know, rap deals and everything else and shitting on the consumers and saying, you know, ha, we're rich, you're poor, and whatever else, you know, they didn't care. When AI was coming for the fast food worker, they didn't care. Hollywood didn't care. When AI was replacing, you know, customer service reps, they didn't care. But now that AI is coming for their job, now they're trying to expose the industry. They're calling it out. Even Lizzo went on a rant a few days ago where she was talking about the industry and how, you know, music is changing. So let's watch that real quick.
And it is stressing people the fuck out, myself included. Every major artist besides Beyonce has dropped music this year or is planning to drop music this year or has featured on somebody's record this year. I dropped a mixtape over the summer. I had SZA and Doja Cat on it, and I just dropped the deluxe to my mixtape today. And yet there are still people who don't even know I dropped music. Every major artist from Lady Gaga to Drake has dropped albums this year, and yet everyone is saying there's no song of the summer. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's not because the music isn't incredible. It's because the way that the algorithm is set up, no one can serve the masses anymore. This industry used to be based on serving the masses, basically like servicing your song out to certain channels and certain radio stations. The internet space wasn't so congested. There was a clear channel back in the day for major artists to put their music out and serve the masses. Now you have to serve your people. I started a private page just for my fans, Lizzo IRL, and it has been one of the most incredible experiences for me as an artist. It gives me an opportunity to talk to my fans one-on-one and give them the exclusives, share music with them, share my deep thoughts with them. My deep thoughts are not on my main page anymore. And that allows me to have a dialogue with the people who actually give a fuck about me. Because with this algorithm, just putting your music out 9 times out of 10 is not even going to reach your fan base. Think about the way this TikTok algorithm works. Look how many followers I have. Look how many followers you have. And when you post a video, how many of your followers actually see your video? Not that many, right? Because even though someone is following you, it's not guaranteed that they're going to see you on their FYP. And everyone uses their FYP. And TikTok knows that. So for new artists, this is actually incredible news.
So Lizzo's saying a lot of truth. I mean, a lot of things have changed in the industry and on social media in general. I barely see anything from people that I personally follow outside of the Shade Room and Hollywood Unlocked and stuff like that. As far as like just regular folks that I follow, I don't see them on my Instagram feed anymore. It's always whatever I'm searching. So if I'm searching up stuff on Charlie Kirk or, you know, medical stuff, just whatever, that is what I'll be fed. Whatever you were searching, that's who you'll see. I'm like, who is this person? I don't follow this person. You know, it's all this right wing, left wing. It's all stuff that I'm searching for my topics, as opposed to like friends and, you know, people that I want to follow. So yeah, you have to think outside the box when it comes to being an artist nowadays. And I think this is going to take the wave. You know, as we all know, Cardi B just dropped her album the night before. Yesterday, Lizzo's on her album, Kehlani's on her album, and her album is doing really good. You know, I think it's already like #1. It's doing really good. There's a lot of good songs on there. Cardi went hard. I'm enjoying the album so far. But again, it took Cardi B 7 years to drop this album. 7 years. The industry don't have time to wait on these artists. Keeping it real. Even though it's a good album, it still took 7 years. When they can have an AI who's not going to be going through a bunch of drama with divorce, pregnancies. You know what I'm saying? Kehlani's had a lot of drama recently with her baby daddy on social media and having to go back and forth to court. Lizzo has been sued for sexual, bunch of sexual allegations from her backup dancers. There's a lot of just mess that goes on in this industry. We saw everything that went down with Young Thug and, him being locked up and him, on all these jail calls. Then you had the Drake and Kendrick Lamar situation. The industry is suffering right now. The music industry, movie industry, all that. The money is not money. Let's keep it real. And so at this point, they just don't got time for all this human drama. You got Cardi B and Offset going back and forth. You have, Gunna and Young Thug and just all this drama, right? So with them, they're always thinking, they're always forward thinking. Even if you go back and read the contracts from the 80s, they were thinking of the future. They were talking about CDs and digital downloads in the contracts back then. They're always forward thinking. So this is why Timberland was running to, to go hook up with Sono and do all this stuff and come up with his own AI. This is where the industry is moving to. Because again, AI, they can push any type of narrative. They can be pro this, anti that. They don't have to worry about pregnancy, going to jail. Everything I was saying back in 2021. They don't have to worry about any of that.
Yo, in today's news of artists are never satisfied. Artists are never happy. This is why executives, producers, stuff of that nature don't work with artists. First of all, the Timberland, who has super producer, who has...
Listen close, he says why they don't work with artists. So notice, Timberland is the one who is reposting what this man Ray Daniels is saying, meaning that Timberland is agreeing with everything that this man is saying. This is how they are now viewing human artists. So we're going to finish and let him talk.
Who has, I see, helping as many artists as he can, decides he's going to play in the AI world, which, why the fuck wouldn't you? Like, let me tell you what an AI thing is. Let me tell you what an AI character is. Mickey Mouse is an AI character. Donald Duck is an AI character. Bugs Bunny is an AI character. You guys are looking at it wrong. He's going to make a character that he can have sing songs and things of that nature and sell products. That's all these cartoonists and all these young kid TV shows are doing anyway. So why y'all mad at him? Plus, do you know how hard it is to push an artist? They going to tell you, I don't want to do that. Jimmy Iovine famously told me one day, get you something that don't talk back. What is better than an AI artist that don't talk back? And we're still mad at him. Somebody just called me like, what you think about what Timberland did? Ain't it vulturist? I'm like,
see, I just heard that. Get you something that don't talk back, aka something that you can control, something that you don't have to pay fairly. So this is, to me, I feel like the industry is moving towards some type of laundering. You know what I mean? Why pay an artist fair wages when we can make all the money and anybody can do it? Because now you have AI machinery that can write music for you. So you don't even need a songwriter. This woman happens to be a songwriter, but you don't need a songwriter. And songwriting is not easy. I've written several of my theme songs and then had somebody else sing it because I'm not the world's best singer, but I do like to write. And those are just short theme songs. And I know it's like, damn, it takes a while to come up with that. You know what I mean? And they turned out to be a hit, if I do say so myself. But imagine people who really write songs, and it's a spiritual thing to write songs. I talked about this in my Static Major deep dive video. If you guys haven't watched that, I talked about songwriting songwriting and how songwriters are really getting the short end of the stick in the music industry. Well, now they don't even need songwriters. Everything from songwriting to beat making to producing, everything can be done with AI, including Timberland's job. So it's very ironic that this is the mentality in the industry. Get something that does not talk back. And they can push these AI artists. They can, you know, have a white version, a black version, a super dark skinned version, an Asian version. They can have a version catered to your taste and play music that is meaningful and speaks to your soul. We are going down a very, very slippery slope. But I really wish that a lot of these artists had the same energy when regular people were getting replaced by AI and were losing their jobs. Like I said, AI is trying to come for everybody, myself included. We have plenty of AI influencers, and I've been sounding the alarm for years. So it's very interesting now that the chickens are coming home to roost. Now artists are speaking out about this. So again, definitely support the human artists, support your favorite artists. They need the money. You know, they got bills to pay. Okay. But I can't lie. I'm impressed. I was not expecting to be impressed by Zenia Monet. I'm really feeling her music. I'm not saying I'm about to run and go download it, but her music ain't no hoe. Okay? I'm just keeping that real. Music was good. It touched me. Made me cry. I was not expecting that. So there's definitely something spiritual going on. That's why I always say, you know, there's a ghost in the machine. These are just ancient spirits that are transgressing into a different form. Energy never dies, it just transforms. So on that note, I'm out. Tea sippers, I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. I know this video was kind of long, but I kind of wanted to go a little bit deep as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please hit it with a like. Please share this video. And thank you guys so much for always supporting my content. I appreciate y'all. Keep on supporting the real, you know what I'm saying? Flesh and blood, okay? I'll talk to y'all later. Enjoy your weekend. Deuces.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.